back to the station where everything this person does in school. Last time we covered what is now called World War I and the Great Depression. Now we will cover World War II and a couple years afterwards, just to kind of round things off. So, what's the issue this time, Shaggy?
What is? No. Who is? No. Where would you hide it dead? No. Okay. When will World War III take place?
I think at least by 2015.
Likely. I don't know about a world war, but I think Russia and the U.S. will almost have a big bomb war like Cuba. Around Cuba. It'll be crisis.
No way, dude. That's impossible.
And you're probably right. So do the facts. Away! So going back to July 29th, 1921, Adolf Hitler became leader of the Nazis. On November of that year, Hitler and the Nazis kidnapped the Bavarian leader in order to make Hitler the leader. It didn't last long, and men thought Hitler's career was over July 18, 1925. He wrote and published a book called Mein Kampf. September 8, 1928, Germany becomes a large part of the League of Nations, and on September 14, 1930, the Nazis became the second largest political party in Germany. January 30th, 1930, Hitler becomes Chancellor of Germany. On March 12th, the first concentration camp is opened up outside of Germany. Everybody thought it was a school or something, and on March 23rd, the Enabling Act gives Hitler dictator powers. April 1st, the Nazis started hating on Jewish shops. They did it in that day because in case things went south. Then they could take it back. On May 10th, they started burning books in Germany. We should film of it now. We have some film of it now. July 14th, the Nazis become the only political party, and on October 14th, Germany becomes self-relevant. Over to you, Anakin.
That would be Reliant, but on August 19th, 1934, Hitler becomes the Führer of Germany. Great. And on March 16th, 1935, Hitler violates the Treaty of the Last War by introducing military conscription. Because screw treaties. And on September 15th, Hitler says Jews? No. By taking away the Nuremberg race logs from them. May 9th, 1936, Mussolini takes Ethiopia. He's with Italy, by the way. June 18th, 1936, Spain has a civil war that I've never heard about, and on August 1st, the Olympic Games are held in Berlin. Jesse Owens won a gold there, but Hitler wouldn't shake his hand because, well, I don't know, he's racist. On October 1st, Franco was declared head of the Spanish state, and on June 11th, 1937, the Soviet Union leader, Joseph Stalin, started purging the Red Army generals. And on November 5th, the worst prepares to happen. Hitler reveals his war plan at a conference on March 12th, 1938. Germany declares a union with Austria. On March 28th, 1939, the Spanish Civil War ends, and on May 2nd, the Nazis sign a Pact of Steel with Italy. They wanted Ferrari tanks. And on to our interns, starting with That Asian Now.
August 23rd, 1939, Nazis and Soviets sign a pact to team up. August 31st, 1939, London starts evacuating civilians because of a bunch of threats from Germany. And on September 1st, 1939 is what we all hear at the station of a long-ass name, believed to be the beginning of this war. Germany invades Poland on this day. 2 days later, Britain, France, Australia, and for some reason New Zealand declared war on Germany. The next day, the British Royal Air Force attacked the German Navy. On the 5th of September, the U.S. declared its neutrality. And on September 10th, the Battle of the Atlantic began when Canada also declared war on Germany. And to top it off, on the 17th of September, the Soviets invaded Poland. On to PK Fresh.
The Nazis and the Soviets split up Poland to avoid any fighting between them. They already had the rest of the world to fight. In October of that year, the Nazis started killing off all the sick and disabled people in Germany. That's just wrong.
Oh.
November 8th, someone gets the first good idea of the decade and tries to kill Hitler. It didn't work, but now we're getting somewhere. And to end the war, the Soviets are kicked out of the League of Nations. January 8th, 1940, rationing to Britain's population begins. March 12th, Finland signs a peace treaty with the Soviets who invaded them last year. May 10th, 1940, Winston Churchill becomes Prime Minister and Germany invades France, Belgium, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands, all in one day. Holland and Belgium surrendered in May that year to the Germans. And on June 3rd, Germany starts bombing in Paris. On to you, Anakin. Tell us some good news, please.
Sports time, Dr. Picka, take over.
Football! Alright, now that I have your attention, let's talk about some sports. Wait, it's World War II. Jesse Owens won the gold medal in the Olympics in Germany. What? What's that? Oh, you already knew that? Oh, okay, let's talk about some weather, I guess. I'm so tired. I'm out of ideas. It's bright and sunny in the U.S., and industry is booming due to the war effort, but in Germany it's rainy and cloudy and depressing, because they're the bad guys. I guess that's it. Back to you, Anakin. I'm so tired of this stupid crap. Your stupid writers freaking keep making me go outside.
And we're back. How interesting. A good newsy. On June 10th, Italy declares a war on France and Britain. Oh boy. Might as well add Antarctica to the mix. The Penguins need some blood for everyone else. June 22nd, Hitler basically walks all over France, and when they ask for a truce, he goes on a tour through Paris later. For free! Late August, the Germans bomb London, and Britain comes back to bomb Berlin the next day, September 7th. Germany blitzes into Britain, and on the 13th, Italy invades Egypt because screw Egypt. And on September 27th, Germany, Italy, and Japan team up to beat up everyone. October 28th, Italy invades Greece. That's both my favorite mythology's countries, you jerks. Someone take over now.
The Italian fleet is crippled by a torpedo on... A torpedo? The Italian fleet is crippled by a torpedo on November 10th, 1940. Romania joins the Axis powers and more bombings, yada yada yada. Lots of bad things happen. Have we discussed who's who in the war yet? Okay, it falls to me again. The bad guys, the Axis, were Germany, Italy, Japan, Hungary, Romania, and Bulgaria. The good guys, the Allies, were the US, Britain, France, USSR, Australia, Belgium, Brazil, Canada, China, Denmark, Greece, Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Poland, South Africa, and Yugoslavia. Wow, that's more than I remember from school. So school lied to me again. Woo!
We're back. Shaggy and Anakin had to step out due to some mental breakdowns. They should be back later in the episode, or at least until the next one. They just have to replace their microchips. So that Asian and I will be hosts for now.
It's pretty exciting. I will beat your...
So the Nazis invade Greece and Yugoslavia on April 6, 1941. About a week later, they both surrendered. So that's why you never hear of them. I guess he had that breakdown for no reason, huh? Yeah. On June 14th, the U.S. freezes the German and Italian assets. June 22nd, Germany attacks the Soviet Union and the Nazis begin mass murder that same month. The U.S. takes Japan completely away and freezes their assets on July 26th. On August 14th, the President of the U.S. and the British Prime Minister announced the Atlantic Charter, which was a broad statement for their war aims. Exactly 2 years into the war, the Germans start making Jews wear gold stars so they know exactly who to persecute. And the first gas chambers start being used 2 days later. On to you, that Asian.
Well, for the rest of the year, the Germans win so many countries it's crazy, and the Nazis kill even more Jews. And on December 7th, 1941, the Japanese bomb Pearl Harbor, the Hawaiian base for the U.S. The next day, the U.S. joins the war. They declare, with Britain, war on Japan, and Germany declares war on the U.S. a couple days later. By the end of the year, Hitler has full control over the German army. Now it's time for the U.S. to join the war and kick some serious ass.
Oh! Okay, slow down there. By January 26, 1942, the U.S. arrives in Britain to come fight everyone, and every Japanese in America is reloaded somewhere because, well, screw them all. Screw everybody! In June, the mass murder of Jews begins in concentration camps, and Eisenhower arrives in London to coordinate American troops. On August 12th, Stalin and Churchill meet in Moscow. Around this time, for the rest of the year, there are more wins on the good side, and still plenty of wins for the bad side.
Or the dark side.
That's racist. January 27th, 1943. American bombs the Germans for the first time. Yay! More death! February 2nd is the turning point of the war with the first German surrender at Stalingrad. Mussolini is arrested on July 25th, and Italy surrenders to the Allies on September 8th. On October 13th, Italy goes back and declares war on Germany. They seem to be losing. Thank you, Captain America. And March 18th, 1944, the British dropped 3,000 tons of base. No, sorry, bombs, not base. They didn't drop the
And
base.
for the rest of the year, it seems it's just a bunch of wins for the Allies. Good news, finally, on July 20th, some of the Germans' army officers try and assassinate Hitler. They fail, but we're getting somewhere again. Back to the bad news. On August 4th, the famous Anne Frank's family was arrested.
Who?
You'll find out later. Paris is liberated on August 25th, and on the 29th. The Slovak uprising began on September 4th. Finland and the Soviets agreed for a ceasefire, and finally on October 30th, the last gas chambers were used. Back to some good news now, hopefully. And on December 4th, Greece has a civil war. Let's go to our field guide to check it out. How's it down there?
I'm just waiting to die.
Okay. On March 6, 1945, the last offensive for the Germans take place in Hungary. It's making me so hangary. Do you get it? In April, the Allies found some stolen art by the Nazis, and on April 28th, Mussolini is hung. And finally, on April 30th, 1945, Hitler committed suicide. That sounds terrible to celebrate, but he was a terrible person, so it's okay. May 8th is the end of the war in Europe, and they start to divide Germany up so it doesn't come to power and make the next World War. But the US wasn't quite done yet.
On July 16th, the US tested their final atomic bomb. Well, their first atomic bomb, developed by German scientists snuck out of Germany. And on August 6th, their first atomic bomb is dropped on Hiroshima, Japan. 3 days later, the second one is dropped on Nagasaki. On August 14th, the Japanese were like, holy crap, we messed up, and agreed on an unconditional surrender. On September 2nd, they signed the treaty to end World War II. Finally, but we're not done yet, are we?
No, USA is still going to kick some serious...
Hey, get out of my seat, get out of my
What
seat!
he said? What he said? What he said?
Yeah, with
Get
your
out
mental
of my seat,
breakdown.
boy. Get out of my seat.
Yeah, where are we?
Sure.
Hold up.
Faggots.
Where are we? Let's see. Kyle and Brandon walked back in. Hey, get out of my seat. Yeah, well, he said get out. Okay, I got it. Oh, okay. On October 24th, the United Nations is formed, and on October 20th, the Nuremberg War Crimes Trials begins. So after the war in America, everyone kind of prospered, which led to a cool-looking 50s, which we'll get to on our very last part. But not everything was great. See, the USSR and the US were now the big powers. They allied in the war, but were now competing for at least the next 20 years. Go into Shaggy.
Yeah, and everyone else was really just focused on rebuilding their governments and rebuilding their actual location. Well, Germany got downsized and everywhere else got bigger, but they did get kind of what they deserve anyways. Though, in good ways, everyone got through one of the worst wars ever. In my opinion, and our last episode will be a fun one. With only the Cold War to really worry about, it should be a smooth sailing from here on out. This was Shaggy.
And Anakin.
And PK Fresh.
And that Asian.
Signing off on the station that will air things as personal to the school. Stay frosty. Sorry, just trying to get in the mood for the next one.